Hello, Army of Light, Earth Division, our boots on the ground. It's Shauna L. Francis. Today is February 6th, 2023. Thank you so much for joining me. We are channeling the late Queen Elizabeth, who has come forward as a negative reptilian, as part of a massive negative reptilian regime who has been present on this planet for thousands of years, controlling humanity, influencing humanity under the radar for most of us for all this time. It is now a time of reckoning. This is a time when that which has been so hidden in the dark, just below the surface, just out of the reach of our awareness, it's time to bring this stuff forward. And this is in the name of liberation, empowerment, love. We are moving away from a world that has had this negative influence for so very long into a place of knowing, into a place of truth, into a place where anything is possible. This ascension is the greatest thing that humanity has ever taken on as a collective. We are marching full steam ahead into this ascension team, and exposing the negative reptilian influence here is critical, a critical step to getting us to our higher vibrational state. Queen Elizabeth, the Galactic Federation of Light, Melchizedek, Cryon, others have talked a lot about the negative reptilian influence directly through me. I'm a conscious channel here. I've dedicated my life to this mission. I've made space in my world for this mission, always at the loving, guiding hands of our spirit team. And here we have assembled here on this planet such a beautiful, loving, supportive team, the Army of Light Earth Division here, to be matched only with our galactic family here in the Galactic Federation of Light, the Army of Light, the Galactic Division. We also have a whole host of the angelic realm, ascended masters, other collectives on the other side of the veil, non-terrestrial, non-earth beings of higher dimensionality, higher frequency, who are assisting all of us right now, not only with this reptilian disclosure, but with raising our frequencies, with understanding what's been happening here, really helping us understand how to hold the light, how to be present for the light, how to maintain this light for a world that has been in the dark for so long, team. This is go time. In this video today, it may be one of the most important things I've done during the last 4.5 years with this mission. Queen Elizabeth today goes further into the children aspect of the negative reptilian regime and what's been going on there. This is really difficult stuff. This is a warning from me to all of you before we get into this, that this is graphic, this is difficult, it is absolutely disturbing and horrific. And again, the liberation that comes from exposing these darker truths about our history, not only our history, but about our present time. This is to help bring these things finally to the light, where they can be emancipated, stopped, changed. We've got to face these things. We've got to know what we're dealing with. This can no longer be invisible, under the surface, hidden from the rest of humanity. It's time to come clean, as the Queen has said in the past. And I know how all this sounds to those of you who are new to these concepts. There's a lot of information here, team. My channel, I've got 250 plus videos, channeled videos here, helping us prepare for this time, prepare to be able to hold the light through this time and through these revelations. Queen Elizabeth, the royal monarchy, the shadow government, what's been going on here, the The amount of influence, it's breathtaking. Truly, before this process began, even for me, having been part of this process, this awakening journey for 4.5 years, I really had no idea of the extent of the influence until I started working closely with Queen Elizabeth. She and I have a shared background, a shared history, in that I was also a negative reptilian for a very, very long time. About 200,000 years ago in linear Earth time, I switched teams to the light. I'd had enough. It was enough. I was done. I was ready to help bring down this regime that I had helped create. Queen Elizabeth, she's just made this decision since she passed in September of 2022, that she is now joining the light as well. And I've had a pre-life agreement here to be her spokesperson, to be her partner, to be able to bring all this information that she just left, all of everything she knows about the negative reptilian regime. We're bringing this information forward. It's an incredible opportunity to really understand what's been going on here, the truth of this. We're ready, team. Now's the time. All right. Thanks again for being here. Thanks for all your beautiful, supportive, and respectful comments. We have an amazing, beautiful team here. All right, Queen Elizabeth, I'm going to go ahead and let you know every word that was spoken between us today, and I'm going to take my time with this. I was feeling really good when I started today. I said, "Hello, Elizabeth, good to speak with you again. How are you?" And she said, "I'm well, Shauna. Thank you very much. How are you doing?" I said, "I'm doing so good. Life is good. Super happy, feeling content, feeling so much love, feeling supported." And she said, "I'm so glad to hear it, Shauna. That's wonderful. Shall we get started?" I said, "Yes, please." The comforts of our lives, she said, the activities, the things, the people, the places that make us happy, our main sources of joy, excuse me, life-affirming, deeply satisfying aspects to our beingness, a deep belly laugh, a big bear hug, giggling with surprise and delight, just being in the moment, at ease, relaxed, knowing that all is well and that all will continue to be well. A level of acceptance, finding ourselves here, Shauna, where breathing is just easy, and that undercurrent of positivity seems to always be present. And at that point, I'd really felt my energy shift with those words. I was really feeling that contentment, feeling this love and support, like just a big, nurturing, energetic hug as those words were being spoken. And I said, "I'm feeling that right now. It feels so good, so beautiful." And she said here, "May everyone who hear these messages connect with this aspect of their existence consciously, deliberately, and to choose it consciously and deliberately. With every breath, feeling that vitality course through your veins. Feel the density dissipate and lighten. Visualize every cell sparkling with gratitude. Each heartbreak, each sad event, each loss, each unforeseen consequence. May they be blips on a radar screen, small spots on a beautiful canvas. May those spots not become the entire painting, but interesting little aspects that make that canvas unique, make it stronger, give it character and strength. And she continued here. And as we move through those darker times in our lives, may the lessons be readily apparent and swift, so that we may come back to our center, back into our authentic selves without haste. Shauna, she said, these aspects of our experience of which I speak may help provide the needed padding and cushion for the rough road ahead, for you, for me, for all who receive these messages in any moment in time. These are important tools for any light seeker who is preparing to go the distance, to see this through to the end. This is not a sprint, but a never-ending road of discovery. We shall take our time and allow the deeper energies at play to keep up with us. There was a long pause here, and then she continued. Let us join together, Shauna, in solidarity, beyond the masks, beyond the roles, the titles, what we think we know about life, what we think we know about death, who we think we are, what we think we are. Just sink fully and deeply into the now, merging with the all that is, and allowing Source to carry all of our burdens as we walk this path together. And with those words at this point, I was really, really deep into the energy. I think maybe 15 or 20 minutes went by as I'm just being present with the energy coming through. I said, please continue whenever you're ready, Elizabeth. And she said, Shauna, this worldwide dominance that we've spoken of, the fingers and the tendrils, the roots, they are many, they are long, they are deep, and in some ways firmly rooted. One must be willing to take a good hard look at what's been happening on a macro scale in order to understand how all the small pieces, each of those roots, somehow feed the agenda of the whole. Nothing is left to chance. And when we say chance, what do we mean here? We mean the crux of this at its most basic. This negative reptilian regime does not want to take a chance that too many of you will catch on to the game, will see through the charade, to awaken out of this fog and into clarity. A distracted, sleepwalking species, she said, feeling unsettled, insecure, in pain and in fear, is so much easier to control than a species who knows what it is, who it is, understands its own power, and understands its capacity for love. Making choices on an individual and a collective level that would expose the administration and derail everything that they've built so carefully. It may not seem that just one person or a handful of people could help topple a regime such as this, but this is exactly what could happen. And they know this from previous experience. It's much better for their agenda if we don't know who and what we are, if we are not aware of the power that we possess. And there was a nice long pause here again. I said, please continue, Elizabeth, whenever you're ready. And she said here, so when we speak of the children, the beautiful, beautiful children, we must step back, take a deep breath, and realize that this negative regime is playing for keeps. This is serious business. This is one of their foundational exploitations of the human species. In terms of the royal family, she said, sexual exploitation of children has been especially rampant, this having gone on continuously for over 800 years. The people in the monarchy and the royal family and all their support staff may change, people come and go, but the approach, the activities, the system, the process and procedures have remained largely unchanged through the centuries. Pedophilia and worse, Shauna, blood sacrifices, and then following the consumption of those who lost their lives in the blood sacrifice. And after a long pause, she continued. The strong versus the weak. It's a big part of how the negative reptilians operate. Dominance over others. Exploitation of those who they feel are weak. Dominance, control, feeling as though it is their right to do so. They are entitled to this, they feel, because they can. They pride themselves on being very clever, very smart, and very brutal. Pedophilia, she said. The church set the precedent here so very long ago. Once again, the clergy, the leadership, the patrons, the parishioners, they all change, but the basic approach, the method, the system, processes, and procedures have remained fairly unchanged throughout the centuries. The lines between church and state, she said, were very blurred back in those days, 800 years ago, when the dark reptilian regime got a strong foothold into the monarchy. Back then, scouts would go into the small towns and surrounding communities and select just the right boys and girls who thought they would have the honor of working on behalf of the monarchy at the castle or the kingdom. Parents would willingly send their children in the hopes that they'd have a better life working with the royalty. They would never see those children again. And they never really knew what had become of them. The children who were taken to the monarchy had no idea what kind of fate awaited them. Soon they'd be taken behind closed doors, never to be seen, never to see the light of day again. There was a nice long pause here, and I took the opportunity to ask a question. I said, Elizabeth, may I please ask a question? She said, certainly, Shauna. I said, who is actually doing the perpetrating? I said, this is the monarchy, it's the royalty. Are these the humans who are deeply in the grips of the hive mind, or are these the actual reptilian beings somehow on the planet? I said, if it's the humans born through the reptilian bloodline connected to the hive mind, is the fear energy or whatever this is somehow being siphoned off by the actual negative reptilians? Or is this feeding the hive mind in some way? Can you talk more about these aspects? She said, thank you, Shauna. The perpetrators are the humans who are actually reptilian in nature, connected fully to the hive mind. And yes, through that same mechanism of the hive mind, everyone in the hive, including the leadership controlling the hive, will quote unquote benefit from what's going on with these children. Even if it's just a few reptilians in human embodiment, their acts are serving the whole and serving the leadership. And the leadership at the very top are actually reptilian in form, not human. All right, starting to make a little sense there. I said, thank you, Elizabeth, for answering that. Whenever you're ready, you could continue. She said, Shauna, the ways in which this has been carried out, practically undetected for so many centuries, is that those enmeshed in the hive mind who know really what's going on use a bit of mind trickery with those who do not know what's going on. Imagine a negative reptilian in a human body connected to the hive mind being able to project a thought into another human's mind, project an image, project a feeling. It's all energy at the end of the day. This is done more at a person-to-person level, she said. It can also be done with small groups, a thought form, feeling, an image, even a script, projected from the negative reptilian human to unsuspecting humans who are inadvertently helping to carry out the agenda. Yeah, so when the Galactic Federation of Light talked about mind control, this is kind of what I was envisioning, but this is much broader and deeper than I had ever imagined. She said here, this is part of the expert energy manipulation, a tactic they use quite often to help keep humanity in the dark. The victim in this example, she said, who has had their mind manipulated and altered, is none the wiser. No alarm bells go off. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. Everything just as it should be. And the cycle continues. And there was a big pause again. I said, Elizabeth, may I please ask another question? She said, certainly. I said, I know this is so hard and I'm sorry. I am curious though, who is consuming the bodies? We've learned that the negative reptilians are actually eating humans, that they are farming at the poles. So guys, there's a whole video on this from a few weeks ago, before Queen Elizabeth was coming through. In this case with the monarchy, I said, with these children, who is it that's consuming the actual body, if I heard that correctly? And she said, Shauna, there's pedophilia, there are blood rituals, there is murder, death. The bodies of these young victims are consumed by a small group of leaders at the top of the hierarchical structure as part of the monarchy. This is all done ceremoniously, as are most things when it comes to the monarchy. All right, so it's not really stated here, but how I understood this is that those who are eating the children who die in these rituals are the humans that are of the bloodline, the reptilian bloodline, who are part of the hive mind. Small group of leaders at the top of the hierarchical structure as part of the monarchy. Yeah, so these are the human reptilians, not the reptilian reptilians, if that makes sense. She said here, as queen, I never partook in this, but it did happen during my reign and with people who I knew. I said, it just seems so unreal, Elizabeth. It's just, I said, I can barely fathom this. It's horrifying. And she said, yes, Shauna, truly it is. I am truly sorry. And I said, please continue whenever you're ready. And she said, Shauna, it gives me great pain to describe these things, and I know that this is not easy for you as well. I said, it's a travesty. She said, yes, it is, Shauna, and I'd like to conclude for today. And I said, okay. Thank you, Elizabeth. So there's that. Hard to tell if there will be names who will be named. I just don't know. But this is going on even today, it sounds like, with those at the very top of the hierarchical chain of command. Oh, team, sorry, this is so awful. And I know, I mean, it's not a surprise for many who have already gone down this path and been led here. I mean, it's no accident that we are all working on this team, this army of light. We have a lot of this knowledge already. We've been exposed to this, but we have to remember that most people on the planet have not been exposed to these concepts. Even with David Icke and all of that, there's still so many people who have never even come into contact with any such information. So we want to hold the light here and be patient with the information, and like the Queen said here, allow the deep energetics going on here to catch up with us. All right, team, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I hope you're all doing okay with that. Thanks everybody for your love, your support, for watching, and for everything that you're doing to support each other. Okay, team, I love you. I'll see you tomorrow.